Hello, and we're going to talk about why the bull run might run into 2026. That's right. Why it could actually be overboard this time instead of slowly melting away. Right now, we went past 70,000 to 72,000 within 1,000 of the all-time high. And many of the Wall Street people and analysts say that regardless of who becomes president, Bitcoin is poised to strike at a much, much higher price, which I believe. Now, if Trump wins, like I've said before, it'll pump more immediately. If Harris wins, it'll probably be delayed by a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, but eventually we'll all go upward. However, I do think we're just basically following the 4-year cycle. If you look at the 4-year graph, last year it wasn't until December 3rd that we reached the all-time high. And now I'm looking at the all-time high as 73K and not 69K because we have actually broken through 73K, although because of the ETF. If we were talking about 69K, we just kind of broke through it again for the first time in quite a while. But the thing is, if you look at the news, both Canada and the United States are cutting the interest rates, and the interest rates have been a huge burden on cryptocurrency ever since they started raising back in 2022. Obviously, there was the Russian war and all that stuff as well, but I do think interest rates were one of the primary factors that have prevented Bitcoin from coming up explosively. Interest rates, once again, make bond markets a lot more attractive than speculative stocks and crypto because it increases the yield for non-speculative assets like US Treasuries. If you can get 5% solid, a lot of people will take that 5% solid over a speculative, maybe 20, 30%, possibly more, because if you buy US bonds, you're not going to lose your investment capital. Whereas if you buy crypto, especially if a meme coin or something, there's a very good chance that you will indeed lose your investment capital. So the Bank of Canada has cut rates by 50 points, just like the United States back in September. We're getting a cut the week after next, after the elections in the United States as well, and I do believe that will drive prices up. And the thing is, the United States, not so much Canada, but the United States drives Bitcoin prices a lot, and as their rates come down, it's going to help kind of like the dollar situation as well. It's going to make the dollar weaker against other currencies. That's why Japan has wanted to raise the interest rates to actually make them stronger against the dollar. But with the US bringing the interest rates down, it's going to become weaker against, the dollar is going to become weaker against other currencies. And the DYX has plagued us for a couple of years now at this point, because now the DYX is still above 100, but as they cut, it should come down to about 95 or so, and that would be really good for cryptocurrency. But just the fact that there's trillions of dollars stuck in that bond market, and this will actually help relieve those trillions of dollars, making some of it come into both crypto and stocks, most of it into stocks, but some into crypto as well, is going to make basically the bull run go on a little bit longer. Just like, we had repeated hits during the bear market in 2022 and even in the beginning of 2023 of interest rate increases, we're going to have relief, stress relief in the form of the interest rates actually coming down, 25 points, maybe 50 basis points at a time. And, once those interest rates reach 3% or 3.5% or lower, those bonds are going to become very unattractive. And then some of that money will come into riskier markets. So, that's going to take a long process. It's not going to happen all overnight. They're looking at maybe 1.25% interest rate decrease over 2025. That means at the end of 2025, we'll still have about 3.5% interest rate, which is still a point above the neutral rate of about 2 to 2.5. So that means even into 2026, we'll continue to have 0.5% or 0.25% rate cuts, unless they super speed it up in 2025, which I don't think they will. So that's why I think the bull run might actually stretch a little bit longer this time, because you kind of have the external macroeconomic factor playing that the interest rates are going to continue to come down into 2026. Remember, last time in 2021, everyone knew they were going to start raising the interest rates, and I think that caused some of the fear as well. Plus, obviously, all the COVID inflation. This time, you don't have the COVID inflation, but you also have the interest rates coming down throughout 2025 and into 2026. So the macroeconomic factors are entirely opposite. And I do think the stock market is going to be stronger than obviously in 2021 and 2022 into 2025 and 2026. Even if, labor is a little weaker, even if, consumer spending doesn't grow as much, I think just the addition of that factor of interest rates coming down could make the bull run go a little longer than expected. Now, I don't know if it's like a super cycle or anything. I think as we reach 3.5, it might top out, but it might just trail on into 2026, at least the early months of 2026, as the interest rate comes down even more, back to that 2.25% mark. And also, we might have some altcoin ETFs coming in later in 2025 and into 2026, which would boost the altcoin market as well. So that's my view on it. Let me know if you agree, like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.